Hey, so here are 5 things that you can do to overcome and battle depression. These are things I've learned that have worked really, really well. And so because these are amazing tips, I wanted to share them with you. Starting at number 5, do something for someone else. What do I mean by this? Okay, so it's easy. Think about the last time that you sprained your ankle or maybe you stubbed your toe. Do you remember how fixated you were on that pain? It was everything, like you were just like, oh my gosh, this hurts so bad. Well, it's not that different with emotional pain that comes along with depression. It's easy to fixate on ourselves, and instead what I want you to do is go find somebody that you can do something for. Get your mind off of you and think about doing something for someone, like maybe writing an email that's an encouraging email to lift somebody up, or paying for somebody's gas or their meal, or if you can mow someone's lawn. Do something for someone else to get the focus off of yourself. Number 4, this is so hard, I admit it, okay, but this is so helpful. Eat well. Now, I'm a huge ice cream fanatic. I love ice cream. I love anything sweet. There's a biological reason that tends to happen for people with depression. Either we crave carbs or we crave sugar. That's because serotonin and dopamine, those are the transmitters in our brain that make us feel good. They aren't at the level that they should be, and so we crave foods that help to bring those levels up. Now, one, I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not giving you medical advice. I'm just telling you some of the things that I've learned behind why it is we eat the foods that we do and why we choose poorly. So if we're eating those foods and we eat things to throw our blood sugar levels up and our serotonin and dopamine levels up, that's great for about maybe 20 minutes to an hour, but then we come crashing down, and guess what happens to all those levels again? They fall even lower, and so then we go back to the food that we need to feel better, and so we eat more of that bad food and the sugar levels go back up, and we have this pendulum back and forth effect. The best thing that you can do to feel better is to eat well. Think of foods that are healthy, like, I know vegetables may not be your thing. Eat lots of vegetables. Eat simple sugars like that are found in fresh fruit. Stay away from complex carbohydrates that you find in a lot of refined foods, but you find in ice cream. And you want to eat food that's in good proportion. Don't eat a huge plate of spaghetti, because guess what all of those carbs that you find in the pasta do? They get converted to sugar, and that sugar, guess what? It does the same type of effect to our bodies. So overloading ourselves on carbs and sweets is the opposite of what you want to do, even though that's what you're going to crave, and that's something I crave as well. But the more that I eat well, the better that I feel, and I think you will too. Number 3, be known. What I mean by that is find somebody that you can let your guard down with, someone that is safe, that you can share what is going on in your life. Let them see the good, let them see the bad, and let you see that they will love you right through it. It's so important that we experience intimacy and connection with other people that love us just for who we are, not for what we do or what we don't do, and that just be loved unconditionally. Okay, number 2, this is something that is really hard. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna beat around the bush. It's exercise. You got to do this in order to help your mental health. Now, the problem, as you know and I know, is that oftentimes we don't want to do exercise. It's the last thing that we want to do. This is where you're gonna need to be the boss of your emotions rather than letting your emotions be the boss of you. You're gonna have to take that initiative, even if you can't because of your weight. Maybe you can't even get out of bed. That's okay. Start lifting your arms. You want to do something to get that heart rate up. Maybe you can get out of bed and you can just go on a walk, but that will get your heart rate really going. Just walking, do that. Or maybe you need to push yourself more and do a jog or a run. Whatever the case is, you want to get your heart rate up. Try to get it up for a good 10 minutes. You don't have to be like completely out of breath, but you want to be like, you want to be huffing and puffing. The other thing that you can do is strength training. When you strength train and you break down those muscles, there are good feeling hormones like dopamine and serotonin that come around that are like, hey, I feel good. So that's something that you want to do as well. Now, before we move on to what I think is the most important thing you can do to fight your depression, I want to ask you to please hit the red subscribe button. That actually helps me to know that this is content that you value and appreciate. All right, here we go with tip number 1. There's 2 parts to this. Part 1 is accept. Part 2 is surrender. Accept and surrender. Here we go. By accept, what I mean is accept that you're gonna have days that you don't feel happy. It's normal for someone that doesn't struggle with depression to have 2 or 3 days a month where they just feel blue. You're gonna have days like that. That doesn't mean you're losing the battle. It just means you're having a down day. That's okay. Again, this is a great place where you get to tell yourself and lead your emotions rather than your emotions leading you. You make the choice to get up even though you don't feel like it. You make the choice to take a shower and to get some exercise even though you don't feel like it. You make the choice to eat well even though you want to eat poorly. You make the choice to go do something for someone even though you don't feel like it. You have to accept that there's going to be times during the month that you're just not going to feel well. It's normal. It's okay. Don't beat yourself up for it. And the second part to this is surrender. And what I mean by that is to surrender to this idea that God has not forgotten you. God is very aware of your hurt and your despair. God even tells us in His Word that He is close to the brokenhearted, not far away, despite what you may feel. You know, my lead pastor says this to our church, and I absolutely love it. And I don't know if he got it from somewhere else, but what he says is that God did not feel like His creation was complete without you in it. Think about that. Surrender to the idea that God really is with you and He cares for you and He is not going to leave you. He is not going to abandon you. He is by your side, whether you are feeling lonely or scared. He wants to be in communion with you, meaning He wants to have that relationship with you. So surrender to allowing Him to come in, allowing Him to be a part of the innermost parts of your soul, your heart, and your mind, your spirit. And always remember that if you've got problems, I've got them too. So hold on to Christ because He's holding on to you.